Hello, this is Gene. I'm going to talk about our fellow white man, Owen Benjamin, as he had to say certain things about the movement. Let's say. First of all, before I go into that, I do want to say that he's done a lot of good things, and I do agree with him in a lot of things, especially when he talks about getting Christ back in your life, let Lagos, doing the right thing, have families, having babies, be against abortion, call out the satanic shit that's going on in Hollywood. But of course, when he's streaming, he goes off on these different tangents all the time. He just cannot. I mean, at some point, in the past, I said that he had some issues, and then I kind of like changed my opinion on him and said, that regardless of what I think, if he's going through a crisis in his mind, what he's saying is important. But he just can't take any criticism. He can't, especially when it comes to the idea of being proud of your race. Now he says he's a white enthusiast. Again, Benjamin is not 100% white. So, but anyway, we're gonna go through this a little bit and just give you my thoughts on it. If his fans want to come in here and get on me, that's fine. But this is what I've noticed from him. He still has this issue where he can't go to the next level. So yesterday he just kept talking and talking, and eventually it came to, like he said, he was a white enthusiast, and he said this. I saw this comment saying that this guy that wrote in or something. I don't know if he gave him a super chat in the mail because he gets it through snail mail now. That way he gets money, and YouTube will not just take that money away from him, or Patreon or all that type of thing, because he's so dangerous, I guess. So this guy said, I don't really agree with you, but I agree with you on certain things. And he looked in the camera and he says, well, what don't you not agree with me on? So I was sitting there to myself. I was like, let me see, the moon landing? We clearly went to the moon. Nuclear bombs are real. Fallout is real. Let's see, that white people should at least be, be concerned about the future of the white race. So he started going down there, and it must have happened maybe 30 seconds after he said that. He just went on a rant about, I guess, white nationalists and maybe white supremacists, because there's very, very, very few white supremacists in the world. Very, very far right, even far left groups that actually come out and say that white people are the best of all time, and are actually white supremacists that says that we want only white people to be with us all the time, and that everybody else is beneath us. So he was saying this, but he was really talking about white nationalists, and he just continually said that people that think this way are faggots and retards. Now, he's a comedian. Again, this is Owen Benjamin that's telling me that I shouldn't fight for my race. So I just want to. He talks about he would destroy anybody who would talk to him. He gets on Ben Shapiro's because when a real adult has a conversation with Shapiro, that Shapiro doesn't just destroy him like he does the college kids. And I'm like, there are several people that he can talk to in the movement, whatever that is. I'm not saying Richard Spencer, because I don't really look. I mean, there was a reason, a time for him, but we're past that. But there are several people that work with identitarian movements, like Patrick Casey or Martin Sellner. These are guys that one's in Europe and one's in the United States, that he could have a real conversation with this guy, and maybe he wouldn't have such a I don't know what's the word I'm saying. His attitude toward this idea is, in his mind, I guess, is vile. He wants to caveat saying that no, white people are not the best in the world, but at the same time he'll say that there's a problem with the crime in the country, there's a real thing that's called race realism, and that there is a huge demographic replacement. So, but the idea when he says that by people saying that white pride, nobody's talking about white pride, Owen. We're talking about we want to save our race like every other race is allowed to do. And clearly he knows this, but he doesn't want to talk about it. Is this the one area that he will not be with us 100%? He's like, all these guys get on there saying that you're not doing enough for the movement, or you're just saying poo-poo to us and all that stuff. And he basically calls everybody that talks like this are fags and retards. And again, he is Owen Benjamin, who he's saying he's a comedian, so he doesn't really mean what he means. He still has a problem that he doesn't like where his heritage is. Now, again, he is not 100% white. He's at least a quarter Jewish. So maybe that's something that's pulling back against him, saying that you got to stand up for that part of your tribe. So as somebody who is pretty much 100% European, and when I talk about white people, it's like he will not admit that there is a difference. He's like, well, it used to be before everybody came in the country that we were all white pretty much anyway, but we were like Italians and Irish, and we hated each other. And there was no real camaraderie there because we looked the same, but we still hated each other. Okay, that's fair. You can make that conversation. You can make that but it doesn't make any difference right now. We're the minority in the world, and everything is being pushed against us. So at the same time that he's talking about Jews all the time, how much influence that they have, so what is he going to think when somebody who's 25 is listening to him, or 18 listening to him, that person's not going to get radicalized? They might. And they might say it's the Jews, and Jews, when we all know that it's not all Jewish people, it's not all Muslim people, well, it's not all black people, but all those different entities and races have people that lobby for them and advocate for them. All that people are really saying, the people that are really in this identitarian movements, it's like we should have that ability as well, and we should not be ostracized and lose our jobs because we want to do something about that. Within the framework of the Constitution, you talk about civic nationalism, because if you go down that road, people call you a cuck, and that's fair. But at the same time, there is a mechanism there to make sure that we change the immigration laws and all that type of thing anyway. But he has this like built-in defense mechanism by not being able to say that what he has to say when it comes to this area. So he thinks he's right there on the avant-garde, that he knows he's the most edgiest person out there, but he won't go to the real area that we need to talk about, and we really continually need to talk about it. Now, you can be as black-pilled if you want to say that we deserve everything that's coming to us. He talked about how we can't, when we're called a racist, that we shut down. Well, there's part of that is true, and he talks about being from the north and become more virtuous type of people, and that we always allow this guilt that we have. But he's so pedantic and just so misinformed. He thinks that only white people got guilt. Look at the Asian people. Look at Japanese. Their whole culture is based on shame. Now, it's a different type of shame than what we have, but when people are actually trying to strip off that shame and say, wait a second, we mean something in this country, in the West, that, hey, just look at the history. We created this great culture that we should be protected. And just because you say that white people should be protected, now we should be called fags and retards. Somebody that has such a huge, not influence, but he definitely has a big platform, and he says a lot of good things. So I'm going to say exactly what his person that wrote into him. I don't agree with you on everything. I agree with you on some things, and I don't have to agree with you on everything. And there are several things that I can just point to that says that I do not agree with you on. You just have this idea that somebody said something to you. You might look at it, you might research for about a minute and a half, and then you're saying it's true. When you sit there and continually say the moon landings didn't happen, and you just laugh about it and think that it's all bullshit, and you just defamed everybody that worked on that program, and the people that died in Cape Kennedy under Gemini or Mercury, it was Gemini, I think. That's good. And I let it go. I've let it go for the last 3 or 4 months. He continually talks about shit like that, but he's talking about things that really need to be talked about. But I can't let this go. I can't, even if he's going to continually say, oh, I was just joking. I'm a comedian. I'm so edgy. What? Because we talk about white issues? That now we're fags and we're retards? Then clearly you're not white. Or you don't care about the race. Or you think that because of what? And what is inside of you Owen Benjamin, that stops you from having the same type of thought processes when you know what's going on, when you call out the Jew all the time, when you call out the media all the time, and you realize that the huge damage is happening to the native people here. Oh, you can say what you want to say about native people. We settled the country. We were 90% or more of the country for a millennium, 30 or 200 years. And then we just let all these people come in. And we can say, you know what? You can be so pessimistic and say that's our fault for doing it. You can blame the boomers for doing it, or their parents wrote that shit in. And none of us, the guys are Generation X, coming in and not changing the law or changing the policies. But when you still poll the people, 90% of the people don't want what we're seeing in immigration. Same thing with abortion. They don't. They are just as restrictive as the Alabama law is. So anyway, I don't want to hear to bash the guy because I think he's doing some good work. But I don't like the fact that there's people out there that are watching him, and they might go further than him. He only goes. He's just like, he's not a shill. He's just below a shill. Because he's doing his own thing, but he's still kind of a shill. He's not Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro, but he's just below that, because he won't allow us to go to what they have to do. I don't know what we have to do here. I mean, I'm not the guy that's going to say we should go in and take over the United States, okay? But something really needs to happen, and there's nothing wrong about advocating for your race or your culture, Owen. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you think that he's right. That's fine. We have the conversations below. And if I don't get to talk to you before the weekend, it starts tomorrow, you guys have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.